Hi, I'm Tommy from Dozer,
And I'm Frederick from Dozer.
and you are watching.
The Heavy Galaxy Show.
We're already rolling.
Times, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're rolling the thing here. We'll do we don't have to do no big intro kind of deal, Mr. Arthur.
What? I don't get a
Seay.
big intro? What the fuck?
Mr. Arthur Seay, unless you want.
No, you got to give Arthur a shot.
All right.
Where's my big intro?
We did the intro.
Where's my? You gonna fucking put in theme song?
You already got one.
Cool.
Whatever it is. All right, Heavy Galaxy Show. We are back with another episode and our guests.
Come on now.
Today, coming to us from the desert in Southern California, we got Mr. Arthur Seay from Unida. What's going on, Arthur?
Come on now. Hey guys, what's going on, man? Yeah, out here in the dirty desert. Low desert, not the high desert. Low desert.
What's the difference between the low and the high?
You know what? Everybody thinks that all this music shit started in the high desert or something, but it didn't. It was in the low desert. The difference is about 40 minutes. Like low desert's Indio all the way up to Palm Springs, Indio, La Quinta, Palm Desert, Bermuda Dunes, Indian Wells, Rancho Mirage, Cathedral City, Palm Springs. So when you go up the 62, that takes you like 45 minutes, whatever, and you go up towards the high desert. So that's where you get Morongo Valley, Yucca Valley, Joshua Tree, 29 Palms, Wonder Valley, etc. But there is a difference of elevation, low and desert, high desert.
Is that where the aliens are?
That's this week, I think, or next week. They do like an alien fucking that Stefan Papanopoulos guy, whatever, the hair from Ancient Aliens. He comes and speaks. I don't know, Sam.
They just saw.
It's called Contact in the Desert. I want to go.
balls.
I haven't gone yet, but I always miss it. I'm fucking doing something.
Well,
But supposedly he has a lot of alien shit up there too.
Yeah.
I like aliens. I believe in aliens. You guys believe in aliens?
I'm not against believing in them. Let's put it that way. You know
How
what I
about
mean?
this? Do you think that it's possible and probable that there is? I mean, we'd have to be full of ourselves. We think that we're the only sentient life in the vastness of space in the universe.
I tend to agree with you. It's a weird topic to get the show started, but nonetheless an important one.
If you think, I love that shit. If you think how vast,
the next few days, weeks, some aliens will land in,
there's got to be something somewhere. And then they get into whole like parallel universes or metaverses. It gets deep. It gets deep.
It is. I'm very aware of.
Yeah, I like Rick and Morty. I watch a lot of Rick and Morty.
I don't watch that though. That's interesting. All right.
Oh, watch it. It's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant.
Hell yeah. So Arthur, Unida. I know you guys got a bunch of great festivals coming up in the future here, including Ripple Fest, SoCal Heavy Jam. You got the Heavy Psych Sound Fest in Germany. Yeah. So man, I guess start things off. Just fill us in what's going on with the band. What do you guys got going on?
I guess the hot topic is we did a European tour last October. Went very well. I mean, it was tough. That was probably the hardest tour I've ever done. Just there was so many hurdles we had to jump that hit us. Because you got to think there's like 3 years of tours trying to happen all at once right now. You know what I mean? And then too, it's just like everybody's trying to go and trying to find a reliable vehicle, a reliable driver, and this and that. Like everything involved in touring is just kind of chaos. So we definitely felt that chaos. Like we had a van and driver. We had to get rid of them for multiple reasons.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude, like insane. If you want to get deep into that, we'll get into that a little bit. But so anyway, it went rad. Different,
but it had challenges.
Major challenges, dude. There was nothing but it was only like a 3-week tour. I think the first week and a half was just challenges. Where'd you fucking day.
What countries did you play?
We did Italy, Germany, the UK, the Netherlands, Belgium, pretty much all over. I know I'm forgetting a couple, but Denmark. Did I say that? No. So it was cool. I mean, it was like we did, we had like 1 day off or something, 2 days off, and the whole time we did like 12 shows in a row. It was the longest stretch. But it was cool. I mean, again, this was, without John. John's supportive. We got this guy, Mark Sunshine, singing. He was in Riot God, which is a couple of guys from Monster Magnet.
Mm-hmm.
They did some stuff a while back. And it all kind of started, same thing with COVID. We had this whole European tour booked. I had this other guy singing, Dewey Bragg, who's a singer from Kill Devil Hill. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool dude. I've known him forever. We always talk about doing something together. And Ahmed Nam, he's like, dude, he's like, I can sing that. You need a shit. You know what? How about let's just do that. And he's like, yeah. And we got together. We did photo shoots. And it was badass. But then COVID happened, so we had to postpone it and postpone it again. Another year. And then when it was kind of like not last minute, but the agent's like, hey man, these are all on. Let's do it. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I hit him up, and like he wasn't available to do it. He works at he's in the union like me, stagehand stuff. So he's like an audio guy at the Greek Theater in LA.
Oh, okay.
So he just got promoted to head audio guy or whatever.
Right.
And it was right in like their season. So, that's tough. I mean, that's a great gig. It's union work. You get paid right. You get bennies. You know what I mean? So that's what I try to do. I plan my stuff around it, where whatever I'm doing, I can fit it in. So he couldn't do it, and I'm just like, man, I'm not gonna cancel this fucking tour just because. So a buddy of mine, I'm doing my solo record too. He recommended Mark, and I hit him up to do stuff on my solo record because he's badass. And I just hit him up, hey man, you around? You do anything? You want to do this European tour? Like, can you sing all this shit? And he's like, fuck yeah. And then we did it. You know what I mean? It was seriously just like that. I don't want to cancel it. Unida might be 5 different singers. Like, who knows now? You know what I mean? Like, I want to play the music, and people want to hear the music. And that was one thing about that tour that proved that people just want to hear the music. Of course, they love John, but everybody was stoked, and I'll have to say liked it even better, because we went out there and annihilated every night. Like, we went full,
How long a set?
Like, what?
Yes. How long a set did you?
We did hour 15, hour 20, hour and a half, just depending on the show and where we're at. And, some places it was more, okay, that's your time frame. And some was like, play all night if you want,
Right.
And we played everything. We played all the old shit, we played all the stuff off of Best of Wangro, all the Coyote shit.
Nice.
So that was the whole thing of that term. Like, it's been, I don't know, 100 years. Let's play all these songs. We played songs that we never used to play, like If Only Two. We never used to play. We played it in the early, like when we first wrote it, that era we played it, and then we stopped playing it. Because, it's like, it's really high and hard.
Right.
But Mark can pull that off.
Yeah, he sure can.
He can pull that off every night.
He did great in Vegas.
Yeah.
You guys, remember I had you all obsessed in Mondo.
Yeah.
That night.
Great show.
That was
Great
a
show.
fucking fun night.
Yeah, that was good
and
times.
People, like, it's always the same thing, but some, they're like, fuck, I just wish it was John. I'm like, John doesn't do a lot of stuff. He's not far off retirement. So just, he's just doing some stuff here.
He says it himself. Oh, I'm gonna retire.
He's like, I'm just not gonna.
He's not gonna retire, but
so I tell people, like, but you're gonna hear these songs live. Have you heard them live before?
Yeah.
Is this, and
especially some as we stopped playing fucking 100 years ago. We're playing them now. Like anything that we didn't play because maybe John didn't want to do it, or he doesn't like that song. Not doesn't like it, but like say like If Only. It's a hard fucking song to do every fucking night. Totally. So I get that. But now we're gonna do all those songs, and we did do all those songs.
Yeah,
and people lost their minds every night when they heard
totally. And that's what I was gonna say is when that show started kicking in, and Arthur gets his faces going. Fucking riffing faces and the beard's going wild, and Mark starts singing. The rest is history. Like people really were like, "Fuck."
Yeah, everybody was so because at first I was kind of nervous because getting back to that tour, like first show was in Barcelona. I'm like, okay, we're flying a day early so we can get there, chillax. I rented a loft, so it'll be nice and comfortable. Everybody can calm down from the travel, walk around, have some tapas, a couple drinks, chill out, have a show the next day. But even right from then, getting back to the logistics part, like we land, all right, cool, we're out here, got our shit. Yeah, all right, cool, yeah. I check my emails. Van already broke down.
Jeez.
I got an email from the driver. Van already broke down. Because he was coming from France.
Oh, no.
And so he already had broke down. He had already checked something out, and then he sort it down. Everything was great. And like, I get this because he was supposed to pick us up. I'm like, oh shit, okay, how does pick us up? Now there's something wrong with the van. Oh, okay. And I'm like, I have to deal with this. I'm like tour managing, and I'm like wearing too many hats. I'm like, all right, well, fucking okay, we're gonna Uber to the loft, and I'm not gonna fucking worry about it. Let's chill out and da 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 da. And luckily, where I got the loft was like we could walk to the venue. So we had a nice night, chill out. Next day, dealt it. He's still not done. He's still, it's getting repaired, whatever. Like, okay, now I'm getting worried. Like, what the fuck? So that first show, I was kind of like, oh shit, man. All right, it's been a long time. It's a whole new guy. Colin McCoy's on bass, amazing guy. I love Colin. Thank God for him. He's badass and calm dude too that can roll with the punches as well. But I was like, man, is anybody gonna come to this show? Fuck. But it was packed, probably 300-400 people. I'm like, cool. Nice. And stoked. And I mean, going ape shit, like stoked, singing all the songs, in your face, just like where you're like, awesome, cool. Yeah, everybody's super fucking like, the new guy sounds good. Yeah, he does just like, At first I was like, it's not John, fuck him. But like, no, he fucking, John,
yeah, that's cool.
Die Hard crazy. And then they kicked us out, and then it was a dance club. Anyway. And then the van finally shows up like, like 4 a.m. Anyway. But what were we even talking about? I'm going to go off tangents. So
all good. Go nuts, man.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll go off and I'll see a shiny squirrel over here, and I got diagnosed neurodivergent. So we're gonna go down some rabbit holes.
Well, we'll follow the maze. We'll do it.
Yeah.
When just quick, Arthur. So when did you decide, like, you know what, man, like, fuck this, we're gonna go out and we're gonna do this, with or without John?
Years ago.
So you did, okay.
I decided years ago, but then it happened. I wanted to do this a long time ago, even before Dewey, which was, that was just before COVID. Because I got tired of sitting around and not doing. We worked really hard on that music, and we worked really hard getting it out there. We worked really hard, and we got fucked not because of our stupidity. We just got caught in the big machine, the industry, which happens to a million bands. And I don't regret that either, because that definitely made me flip the switch and do more myself, know more, learn more. You know what I mean? Because it was at that era, it was like, okay, we got a manager. They're doing all that stuff. And we got this. I mean, I paid attention to everything. One thing I did really pay attention was like, sit with the lawyer and the contract and show me all this shit. I want to know all of this shit.
Learn it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I paid attention to all that. And of course in the studio stuff like that. But just like, you know, the business stuff. Well, you got this guy doing that guy, and you got this guy doing this guy. And I see that in a lot of, you know, not older, I guess maybe older. What do they call them now? Legacy bands?
Yeah.
Where they're used to that. They have their team and the machine and, you know, doing everything for them. So it's kind of not that way anymore. And I've seen it in some bands that I've worked for where like, oh, they're still that way. Like, because they do side projects and they totally fucking fuck them up because they're used to having a team and they don't know what to do to get on, and where they can have another side thing and make some money, but they botch it because they don't have a clue of, you know, everything that you need to learn. Anyway.
So you got the van driver.
Oh man, dude. But anyway, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I told Mike Cancino, I'm like, you know, I text John, hey John, let's meet up, let's talk. And we went up to Morongo and met with them and just explained to them, hey man, you know, I get where you're at, you're doing your solo thing, that's cool, more power to you. We want to play these songs, we want to do this music, we want to go do Unida with this other singer, you know. And he was cool about it. He's like, well, I'm not out of the band, but yeah, go ahead, you have my blessing, I get it, go do it. So that's when it started rolling with Dewey. Time frame didn't work out. Now Mark. I mean, I should have done it way before then, but I don't know.
And so
it happened now, and that's cool.
Yeah, it's great that it's happening now. Mark's on the other side of the country.
Yeah, that's a little because we're planning stuff right now. We're going back to Europe in October. We have the shows in September. That's a little more difficult, but it's just adult planning. Like, all right, let's fly you in this day. Let's rehearse these days. Let's record because we have a bunch of new stuff. Let's record these days. You know what I mean? Can you get that off or whatever? And all, you know, as long as he can, you know, financially, like anybody else, you know, we all have to pay the bills. Pull it off. Cool. Let's do that. So it's a little more planning. It's not ideal where we can like just jump on a show or something because, you know, he's down the street and like, all right, let's go. Right. It's a little more, but you know, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's the complete opposite side of the country, but that's all right.
It's Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey. Totally. Jersey.
I like Mark. I'm not going to hold it against him. He's an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
As a Cowboys fan, but you know, now you guys, I think, have had more bassists than Spinal
Any
Tap
band in the world. Absolutely.
Spinal Tap had drummers.
I'm going to make a shirt. I want to make a shirt and list everybody because there is so many. Should we list them right now?
Yeah, let's go over a few of them.
So let's go way back. So a little tidbit of news. Unida, I've had. We did these 4 songs before we were even called Unida. We were called 13. And we did them in Monkey Studios where we did the other 2 Unida records with Steve Feldman. And I finally dumped those 2-inch tapes digitally, had them mixed. So we're going to release that with Ripple here pretty soon too.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, like, I mean, nobody's ever heard these songs. And they're cool. I mean, this is like beginning. Like I'm tuned solo. I don't even know what I tuned to. I was learning them. I'm like, the fuck did I even tune to?
How old were you?
It's like turn down the pi or something. It's weird. Anyway, it's cool stuff.
But how old were you, Arthur?
That was 97. How old was I then? I was 27.
27. So how did you and John link up?
Me and Mike Cancino, we've always played. We had a band back in the day, out of high school. And the same thing, like Eddie, who was in Housebroken Promises, he was our bass player. He bailed, he split. We didn't have a band anymore. It was actually Eddie and Mike's brother, Chad. It's called Magic. But Eddie bailed, moved away, all that kind of shit. And Mike's brother, he does all the Latin stuff. So I think he went and did, I forget what band, Ray Camacho or something. That's like the popular guy. Anyway, so me and Mike sitting around, just, you know, that age drinking. You know, this is like our mid-20s. So we were jamming, but mostly we were just, you know, doing what you do in your mid-20s, going out every night, drinking, having fun. We would jam, but we weren't really serious. And like, I remember when I turned 27, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I need to do this now. And I told Mike, same shit. Hey, dude, if we're going to do this, we need to do this now. I'm like, all right, you're a drummer. Cool. I'm a guitar player. All right, cool. We need a fucking singer. Where's a singer? And I'm like, what about that Caius guy? Because Caius just broke up, you know. You know that dude? He's like, oh, no, yeah. Because we liked him. We liked Caius. It's like, you know, I always thought he was a great singer. I'm like, I'm going to fucking get a hold of that Caius guy, man. What the fuck? Who do I know that knows him? And my ex at the time knew his girlfriend at the time. So I called my ex, hey, man, you know, can you like relay a message? You know, this is pre-fucking internet even. This is like 96.
Right.
This is probably 96, 95, 96, seriously. Because they broke up in 95, so this is probably 96.
But did they do Slow Burn before you guys?
Yeah. That's when they just started doing Slow Burn. Oh. And I sent the message, and she called his girlfriend, and she told him, and then we talked, and I'm like, hey, man, we're going to, because me and Mike were jamming with a buddy, and there was like this pool hall in Cathedral City, you know. We were going to jam there just instrumentally. I say, hey, man, come out, just check it out, see if you dig it. If not, we'll jam. If not, no worries, man, we'll have a beer. It's all good. And we were writing like different kind of stuff, heavy, you know, whatever you want to call it, stoner, the Sabbath. We kind of went back to our roots, I guess, because me and Mike's, the other band, Magic, like we were fucking Racer X meets Ozzy, Bark of the Moon era, fucking meets Pantera with some White Zombie and shit. Like we were fucking shredding, fucking
yeah.
You
shredding, sweet picking, and every song 6-minute longs. I mean, we had a little Dream Theater in there too, and it was cool. It was like, dude, Mike Varney. That's why every time I see Mike Varney, you don't even know, because that's all we listened to at that time. Yeah. And then we didn't do shit. And then we started doing this. Like we kind of went back, like it's fucking Black Sabbath, and you know. Anyway, he came out, saw us play, dug it. We started jamming. That's when he was doing Slow Burn. So we would jam, and we jammed like that, just me and Mike for like a year. You know, just fucking around, drinking, jamming, jamming, just, you know, making tapes, just, you know, recording the things. And then these 4 songs that we're going to put are actually the tail end of that. Those are the ones we liked, and we're actually like, hey, let's record these. And we recorded them. But then, yeah, that's when he was doing Slow Burn, and then started, you know, they were doing more, before he left that to focus more on Unida. But it was cool, man. We had fun. We would just talk music and listen to music and jam and drink, you know. Yeah. This is mid 90s, late 90s, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, you know, you have such an interesting story with, the different releases along the way. You had a great split you were on. Who was that with?
Dozer.
Who just made a great comeback.
We just got that back too from that label. Ooh. Yeah, that was a little bit of a battle. Not a battle per se, but you know, there's a lot of emails. And we had to have a lawyer send some emails because they never paid us, like, ever.
Wow.
Because it was Meteor City, that guy Jad, and then he sold it to the all his heavy store guy Dan, and you know, and all that nonsense. It's and
it just got caught in the wash. But
I've been battling like, hey man, let's get all this under control.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. Because it's just sitting there and kind of la land.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I've been talking to this guy too. I, you know, emailed him like a few years ago. Hey man, what's going on with this record? I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen a report. I haven't seen any money. I'm sure it's selling, even if it's a couple of bucks. I haven't seen anything.
Right.
He's like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, man. You know, went through divorce. Wah. I mean, sorry, but that's not my fucking problem.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
Sorry, bud, but like,
what's due to you? Yeah.
You have, those are my kids. Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry for you. Like, whatever. Give us the, and I told him just on my own, like, hey man, how about you just give us the record back? Oh yeah, I'm doing that. I'm giving the records back to everybody. I'm like, okay, cool. But he wanted to like keep the digital. I'm like, dude, no.
Oh man.
Wait, no. Just give us the whole thing free and clear. Technically, you already breached all this shit. You haven't sent a fucking quarterly anything. You haven't paid a dime. Like, let's just call it a day. You guys made money off us. You guys made plenty of money off us. You know, they built that label, Meteor City, and all off the backs of the first thing they put out was a Caius bootleg, and they gave John like 10 of them or 20 of them or some shit. And that's how that label got all that money to start. You know, I'm sure none of those guys got any money, but that's how Meteor City started. They bootlegged the Caius. It was like a live show in Austin or something, and they bootlegged it and put it out, and that's where they got a bunch. But then they did our record, which that's all a good amount. They made a shit ton of money there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's a good splits though. Besides that,
well, of course,
like Nebula and someone.
Absolutely, they made money, and that's how they got it all good. Anyway, so I'm just like, hey, dude, just give it. And then he wouldn't do it, and I'm like, hey, John, it's gonna da, da, da. And then we had to get a lawyer, and he was cool. It was just like a nice letter, like, hey, man, let's just call it a day on this. And it's like, oh, well, I need to check the contract, and I'm pretty sure. And, but you know, the little bit of like nice lawyer email, we got it back, and then we're gonna re-release it through Ripple with some added stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. Just stuff
now,
like that.
I know that's not even the biggest adventure you're going through or have gone through, because the history behind the unreleased album is so
legendary,
crazy.
Yeah.
I've obviously gotten versions and stories all over the place, including from you, and even have talked to John about it here and there. And so, and Rick Rubin was involved as well, which is just wacky.
He signed us.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about that era.
I mean,
Unida was, and then what was happening then?
Well, we were doing our own thing. We did that Wango record, which is from Heat. Wangro is a character in Heat. Anyway, we watched Heat a lot at that time.
Jesus.
And we put that out. Then we put out the Coping record, Man's Ruin. Sad. Frank Kozik passed away. That's a fucking super bummer. I mean, you know, he started the careers of a lot of bands. You know what I mean? So we were doing our own thing ourselves, going to Europe, playing and doing really well. So I remember we played CBGBs. We were in New York for something, one of those fests, Foundations Fest. I don't know, somewhere in New York. We're playing CBGBs for one of those, you know, they used to have those like Foundations Forum things or whatever, you know, kind of like South by Southwest, but it was
CMJ, right? CMJ,
one of those. It was in New York. So we were there. We played CBGBs, fucking awesome. We played CBGBs twice. And I remember this. We killed it. It was awesome. It was packed. I mean, it's not hard to pack that place, I guess. And this like suit guy comes up. It was classic. It was like movie shit. Like this like nice suit guy, and he's got this like notebook, like folder. You know what I mean? He's like, "Hey Arthur, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh hey dude, what's up? What's up? Oh, I'm so and so from Sony." And da-da-da-da. He's all, "Check this out." And he opens this notebook, and it's like all our press printed out. I'm like, "Oh wow, that's cool. Okay, I've seen all that. You know, magazines, stuff like that, Europe shit." I'm like, "Oh." He's like, "We really like you guys, man. We should really talk." And I'm like, "Well, fuck yeah." So Sony was kind of courting us even before Rick Rubin got involved. And it was kind of more of like Sony Germany kind of started it, because we did really well in Germany. And this guy, Kai Denning, he was battling hard to get us assigned to Sony Germany. We went to like Sony headquarters in Germany. It was dope, you know, massive building. Everything was fucking, what's his name? Falco? Rock Me Amadeus and shit.
Oh, yeah, Falco.
Yeah. Well, he was like huge. He was huge besides that one hit wonder. Mm-hmm. Like, he was kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, he had a
producer too, yeah.
Bono or something for Germany at that. You know, it's always that weird thing. Like, he was the dude. Well,
not that much. Really, probably not that much.
He was big in Germany.
He was big, though, yeah. He was big.
Well, so is David Hasselhoff.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It was exactly like that. Dude, when he went into Sony Germany and the whole place is his fucking picture everywhere, it's like he's doing something right. Anyway, so we did all that. And then Sony America's like, oh, shit. I think they're the same but different. So America wanted to swoop us up. Anyway, but then at that point, Rick Rubin's American labels was a part of Sony. So then he found out about us. Actually, George Akulius loved us, who ended up producing that record. He showed Rick. And then Rick's like, what the fuck? And dug it. And then next thing you know, it's like, we're going to go meet Rick Rubin. First, it was, we had to do this like fiery hoop thing where like we went into a studio. I think it was Cello, classic famous fucking studio right there in Hollywood, Frank Sinatra, all this shit. And we had to like set up in the studio, and we played like a set for Rick Rubin to come in. He sat in the control room, and then we had to play to like prove that we could play or something, or that we were any good. It was pretty trippy. I remember Sky Reader being all pissed off about it and shit. I'll jump through hoops, but they don't have to light them on fire too. I'll jump through all the fiery hoops. Rick Rubin's right there fucking checking us out because he likes us. What are you mad about? Light some more hoops. Let's go, motherfucker. I'm ready. Let's go. You want me to fucking paraglide in through some hoops and then fucking play a solo? I'll do it. This is
the
fucking
beer
great.
To be on fire. It'd be unbelievable.
Dude, I was like, this is amazing. What the fuck? I'm not going to cry about, I got to play it, show I'm good. Please, Rick Rubin, sit there. I'm
We're
gonna
young and hungry.
shove this up your ass, Rick Rubin. You sit fucking right there. I'm gonna shove the guitar up your ass. And we did, and it was great. And he was like, "Oh wow," we sat down with him, and he sat all yoga and shit, and in the middle of the room on this rug, and then we wrapped out for like an hour or whatever, talking about music and how this, that, and like this, and all this shit. Dude, I have the CD still because they recorded it all. At some point, I don't put that out. It's a shitty recording. But like I have that moment where we played these like 6-7 songs, with fucking Rick Rubin sitting staring at us to see if we're any fucking good. You know what I mean? I get what he was doing. Yeah. All right. Okay. These guys are cool. Let's see what their deal is. And he dug our vibe. And I have that still. Wow. Pretty crazy. And then we just got into talks with that. So went from like Sony Germany to Sony New York to like, okay, now it's American Records. Rick Rubin, and I love Rick Rubin. Like he's done probably all my favorite records, The Cult, and fucking. I mean, come on, how many great records has he done?
He's on you.
He didn't produce it. He kind of executive produced it.
Yeah.
That's what I heard about him. He doesn't necessarily. He's not in the studio that often. Is that what happened with you guys too?
Well, they had Draculas too.
I'll say, in that aspect of his career, he'd already gotten to the point where like he just comes in, gives you a few things, and then bails.
Okay.
I mean, back in the day, he was there the whole time. But what he did for us, he liked us. He kind of like executive kind of produced. George Akulius produced it, who was his right-hand man since the beginning, like coming up, college dorm shit. So you look on a lot of those old records, like the Cult Electric, it says George has assistant producer credits on it.
Mm-hmm.
So all those records that he produced, like George was his right-hand man. They were buddies. They came up together. And we met with George because, we're like going through producers. I was like, cool, let Rick Rubin do it. But he was, forget what he was doing, some mega band, whatever. And we met with George, and George was super fucking cool. And, researching him, like, oh shit, he did that record. I remember talking to George because when we were in Europe, we went to Sony, and, they gave us like stacks of CDs. I remember I found this one. I don't know if you ever guys heard a band called Reef. You ever heard of Reef?
Reef.
They were like, I guess, 90s. Really cool. The singer had a kind of strange voice, but it was badass. Check them out. Really fucking cool. Anyway, I listened to that record, that whole fucking tour. I'm like, damn, this is so good. Like sonically, it was raw, but big. Just a little bit of shine, but huge and raw. And George produced that record. And I started talking to him about like, oh, and George, like, well, what do you want it to sound? I'm like, you know what? This strange band I found, this band Reef, I like the production on that. It's fucking raw and mean and big. He's like, dude, I produced that record. I'm like,
oh wow,
done. I vote for him, And then that turned into a whole thing too, where like Rick wanted Tom Morello to produce our record. So then we had a meeting with Tom Morello. All right, we're gonna go to Rick's house today. Rick's mansion. He's got that mansion just above Sunset. Meet Tom Morello. I'm like, fuck, I love Tom Morello. I'll go meet Tom Morello. I mean, I'm into George, but I'll go talk to Tom Morello. Sure. So we drive up to Rick's house, you know, it's like fucking castle mansion thing. And some weird guy escorts us. Oh, we're going to go into the library. Takes us. It was like that too. Like, oh, the library. And the library's got like this, you know, 8-foot polar bear that he had bleached because it wasn't white enough. And we sitting there for a while. And then, you know, whatever, 10, 15 minutes later, here comes Rick Rubin and Tom Morello. And then we just sat there and bullshit with Tom Morello for like an hour or two, like talking music, guitars, and this and that. And he was super cool. Hindsight, should we have had Tom Morello do it? Probably, because Rick and him were butt buddies at that time. Because he was, what do you think he was trying to do? Produce the next Rage. What did he do after that? Produce the next Rage Against the Machine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But George was the shit. And Tom was cool. You know, we talked guitars. He's like, man, you know, one of those cool moments where like some guy, you're like, I loved Rage. He's like, dude, when you lay into a riff, man, you just lay into a riff. Like, oh. And I'm like, this guy's telling me that? Holy shit. Fuck, he's the king of that. He's the king of that shit. I'm like, thanks, dude. Fuck. Oh. You know, so it would have been cool, but like that's when Rage was taking a shit. Because then he kind of disappeared and all those talks kind of went to hell. And he never gave me credit either because he didn't know what a baritone, because I wrote a song. That song King, I did it on a baritone. I wrote it on a baritone guitar. And I was telling him about that. You know, we're playing guitar. He's like, baritone? What's a baritone guitar? I'm like, oh, you don't know what baritone guitar is? And then Rick Rubin's all, bring us a baritone guitar. he tells his assistant, like that too, like, forget his name, Jay, I don't know. Bring us a baritone guitar. And that motherfucker comes back like 5 minutes later with a baritone guitar. He's like, oh, here, man. I'm, oh, yeah, see, it's a 27-inch scale. It's longer. It's lower, B to B. And he's like, oh, shit. And then what happens? That next Rage, half of that record is baritone guitar.
No way. Wow.
He didn't give me no credit.
Wow.
I don't see my name. Hey, thanks, Arthur, for turning me on the baritone guitar. Yeah, that half next record, that whole fucking record is on fucking baritone. Anyway.
Which record?
Battle of Los Angeles one? Or?
Yeah, I think what's the one with the red and green? It says Rage, but it's
red
and green.
Evil Empire?
I think it's that one of those in that era. I forget, but I'm like, I listened to it, I'm like, hey man, this is baritone guitar because it was lower because he's tuned standard. Anyway, but that's one of those cool things. Like, I don't care. That's awesome.
Okay, so you.
So anyway, fucking. No more Tom Morello. That's when they were breaking up. So he disappears. Like, fuck him anyway. George Coulis is the shit. We all got along with George. We all love George. George is the shit. I love that dude so much. Like, I learned everything from George. Like, how I produce, how I do things. I paid attention and soaked up every fucking ounce of anything I could from him, from Joe Barresi. If you know who that is, he's done all the fucking latest Tools and Slipknot and Queens of Stone Age. Like, he's the dude. He's done every great record. And I just, you know, sponged all that shit in. So we went with George, and he's like, okay, cool. We did it at Sound City. You know what I mean? I'm sure you guys seen. Cool. I'm sure you've seen Sound City, Dave Grohl documentary. We did it in that fucking studio. You know, when it was still like kind of shitty. You know, like after they just painted it or whatever. I think we went in there and I loved it. I thought, you know, it was. You walk down that hallway and it's like every fucking record you ever loved.
Yeah.
You know, the first Rage, Nirvana, Fleetwood Mac, Tom Petty, like all this crazy, Rick Springfield, Dio, fucking Stryper. Like, you know, me and Mike are big Stryper heads. It's just like, oh, Pat Benatar, like all these badass sounding records. And we're like, fuck yeah. You know, I was in that studio. We're in Studio A and that. And
that's awesome.
Fucked up orange, you know, fuzzy carpet on the walls and shit. Yeah, it was cool, man.
It was a shithole. You're right, though. For a while, I jammed in there too. It was for a while a shithole.
It was,
yeah.
The joke was it was called Sound Shitty, even though it sounded amazing. But just like it was, you know, shitty. Like the couch in the lounge was like probably from the 70s still, and who knows what. But it was cool. But I mean, the gear. Oh, I mean, we did 35 rolls of 2-inch tape. We did everything on tape. You know, so it was cool. And we were in there for, I don't know, like a month or something, or 3 weeks. And then Slipknot came in. That's how I got involved with Slipknot. is they came in to do Iowa. Remember Siobhan? She's like, "Oh yeah, I got this band coming in Iowa. The Slipknot. It's supposed to be the craziest fucking new craziest band ever." I'm like, "What? Slipknot? What the fuck?" And I remember because I used to get Krang's, and I got a Krang tape and a CD. I think it was CD. I had both. Still have them actually. I'm like, all right, let me listen to these fuckers, and I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?" It's like noise, but it was cool. And then they played the Palladium like not too long after. I'm like, Mike, we gotta go see these fuckers. They're gonna come in the studio, man. We gotta, see what the fuck they're about. And we saw them at the Palladium, and same thing. We're like, what the fuck? I mean, yeah, that's insane. But what are these guys doing? They're just running around beating on shit, screaming like, what the fuck? But it was pure chaos. It was awesome. And they came in and they were super fucking cool dudes. Me and Paul and Joey instantly broke down, and like they were big fans of us. Like I'm like, you guys know who we are? Like what? They're like, oh yeah, man, guys, you need a fuck. We love that shit, man. Really, really fucking cool.
And Paul played for Unida, right? He
did a tour with us for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Was he one of the 15 different bassists?
He was. Paul was the best dude ever.
Did you have a brother that played also bass?
In Unida?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to list them? There's a lot. We can list them.
At one time we were trying to get them out, but
there's
as someone I know.
There's like a few people you never heard of. Like in the early 13 days, we had this one buddy, my buddy's nephew, just to have bass because it was always just me, Mike, and John. And we had this one guy, Paco, that would just come up, just to play bass. He wasn't in the band or anything. He just like, hey man, come fucking rumble some notes. Cool.
Right.
So Paco, and then this other guy, Billy Cordell, for like a heartbeat.
Oh. He's in Yawning Man.
He's in Yawning Man. Yeah. We've the same thing. We grew up with Billy. But he like even in that time, like he would never show up and fucking.
No.
Hey, we're gonna rehearse. He never wanted to rehearse. He'd be like, "Oh, I worked a full day today. I can't rehearse." Like, we all worked a full day today. What the fuck? You want to like we would just let's play. Mm-hmm. Some people aren't that.
So Reader was there at that
and
point
then
getting signed.
So there's those guys. We'll go through the bass players real quick. And then we hit up Scott. In the very beginning, we hit up Scott. He came and jammed, and it was awesome. It sounded great together, and he loved it, but he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to play anymore. These are his exact words. He can say it's not, I don't know, or not, but like, his reason why he didn't want to do it is because the excitement that he got from the stage, he now gets it from going to like city council meetings and keeping his neighborhood clean and shit like that.
Okay.
That was his focus at that time. I get it to a point. They got burned. Caius got burned, or he got burned, or he feels he got burned, whatever the fuck. So it taints you. I never let that shit taint me. But he didn't want to do it. We're like, all right. Then we actually hit up Brant Bjork. And Brant's like, oh, I got a guy, man. He's in Santa Cruz. Super cool. Blah, blah, blah. This guy, Dave Dinsmore. Okay, cool. So we called him. He drove down. We jammed all weekend. It was cool. We're like, fuck it. You want a job? He's like, yeah. He fucking moved down to the desert. And that's when we did all that shit. And Dave's awesome. I love Dave to death. I mean, he's a fucking nutcase too. Everybody's a nutcase. But, we did all those tours with Dave, and Dave's great. But we just couldn't stand Dave anymore, I guess.
You don't have to go in all that.
Well, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm honest. Dude, we're all in our fucking 50s.
Right.
Well, I don't give a shit, dude. He can... If he wants to fight, call me. It's
no.
I don't think it'd be that, but it's like this is my version, and
it's a long time ago.
It's the truth. Yeah, man. He had issues. He had things he had to deal with that made him that way. But whatever. But I mean, that's the story of the band. You want the story of the band? I'm not gonna candy coat shit like, oh, everything.
Yeah, we want that story. Absolutely.
And Dave just didn't want to do it anymore. No, we just really couldn't take it because he would fucking flip out and blow up like every other fucking thing, and like. Everybody was over it. you know, and that's when we're talking to Rick Rubin. But then as soon as we're talking to Rick Rubin, who wants to be in the band now? Who's that? And that's when Scott joined, which was cool. And it was awesome for a while. But then, you know, shit goes south and people either keep on keeping on or they're done.
Well, let's focus in on what happens with that album. You've recorded it. You're in the studio at Sound City. Rubin's executive. George
produced it.
So what happens there?
Joe Barresi engineered it mostly. He quit on that record. That's a good story too, if you want that. Joe Barresi quit. We got a different engineer. That was a whole nightmare. Like right in the middle of the fucking record. Towards the end, he fucking quits. That's when Joe Barresi was like the best, baddest engineer, but he was coming up to being the engineer producer guy. So he was kind of over just being the engineer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was ready to take the next level.
Yeah.
And he was over, like, you couldn't ask him anything. Like, I'd go in and do the solo or something. I'm like, hey, man, what do you think about that? This part. I'm not producing it. Get George. Hey, somebody get George.
Oh, yeah.
Ask George. I'm not producing this record. I'm just the engineer. Like that. Like that. I'm like,
is that kind of typical for a lot of those guys to do that? Or is it
the guys that are, I'm going to say the guys that have a name and they're about to be a bigger name and be the producer / engineer? I'm going to say, yeah, because that's what happened with him. He was over the fact that I get it to a point. Like, say, technically, if I'm asking him the question about, that would be a producer's question for sure. I never asked him anything to whatever. I'd just be like, it seems a little wide. What do you think? That's an engineer thing. Yes, that's a little wide. Let's do it again. Tighten it up. He was just like, you couldn't ask him shit. It was like, get George. I'm not the producer. Get George. He just hits record and turns knobs and makes it sound amazing. Anything else? So it was kind of fucked up. I mean, I love him to death. I'm still a big fan of his work, and absolutely. But, you know, the same thing. It's one of those things like him and George, they weren't seeing eye to eye how the record would. Because I like how George produced. Like, he wouldn't be in there the whole time up your ass. He'd go, get the fuck out. Let me do my thing. Let me be here with the fucking engineer. Hit go. And let me do my thing. Okay, I'm done. George, come in here. Check it out. This is what I did. What do you think? That's great. That's great. You could probably do that better. That's a little wide. Just that kind of stuff. Instead of just being in there all the time up your ass, nickel and diming you or something. I don't like that. That gets a little like kills your vibe. Some producers are like that. Some like Ross Robinson, he's like that. He'll be on your back punching you while you're trying to play solo and stuff like that to get that take. That's what he would do with Slipknot. But I mean, that was like a crazy thing where like he quit and this and that. Like him and Scott got drunk, and like the next day it was like he quit and fucking, you know, Barresi's manager and our manager and the label. Like it was a big thing. He quit the fucking record. Like we weren't done. They're like, oh shit, you know, budgets and this and that. And we're paying a lot of money for this place. And what the fuck? And who are we gonna get? Oh shit, who are we gonna get? Oh fuck, what the fuck? You know, we need somebody that's badass. So then we got this guy, fuck brain fire right now. I can't remember his name.
That's probably better that way.
Another good name. No, that guy was awesome. I'll remember. But he came in, saved the day, super cool, super chill. Him and George, they knew what their spiel was and all that kind of shit. Another thing I have, that guy mixed the whole fucking record. He's like, hey, man, can I mix this fucking shit? I just want to do it just because I want to do it. You don't have to use it, and I just want to do it. I love this record. I'm like, do it. I have that still. Super cool, crisis averted. I mean, it was a big drama. Like, it was like managers calling, and, you know, it was like, fuck, man, I'm just trying to make a record. It's crazy. And then we were done. Eddie Schreier mastered it, big massive mastering guy. Well, Jim Scott mixed it. We went to, I think, cello again. you know, massive, badass fucking studio, legendary, yada yada. George worked a bunch with Jim Scott, and Jim Scott's, you know, Grammys and this and Santana and like all these big names. Huge guy, super cool fucking dude, man. I just talked to him actually. That's another story. But he mixed it, did a great job. It was cool. We were in the same studio. System of a Down was doing, I think, Toxicity or some shit, or I forget what record they were doing, but you know, they loved us. We're hanging out with them the whole time. We're drinking beer, they're smoking weed, we're playing foosball. You know, it was cool. It was a cool time. And then it was mixed. Eddie Schreier, big name, mastered it. And then where it goes south is Rick Rubin, American, was with Sony. Sony's the machine. American is like, you know, a few people. Whatever. Yeah. Sony does all the work. So this is where you need to pay attention to the business-wise people out there, because it is the music business. And don't ever forget that. And any kid or this or that, it's business. It's a fucking business. That's it. We love music. It feeds our soul. But it's the music business. And if you don't know the business or don't like business, then don't do it. Fucking go sing karaoke and put out whatever in the fuck and don't take it seriously, because it's a fucking business. So this is where like the big business came into it, where we didn't know, and nor did our management tell us, that Rick does 4-year deals. So his 4-year deal with Sony was up. So it was like they're going to re-up that deal, or he's going to go somewhere else and get a bunch of millions and them be his distribution, everything, the machine.
Yeah.
So that was like right when we were done, ready to go. We had just did like a big press junket thing where like all the mags and this and that came and listened to the record and all that kind of shit, prepping, and it was like voted most anticipated in the year, all this crazy shit. But then everything stopped because they had to negotiate that new deal. And this took like 8 months or something, maybe more, of just sitting around like, what the fuck? Okay, well, they're figuring it out. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's fucking bazillion-dollar things and lawyers and this and that. So anyway, at the end of the day, Rick was mad at Sony for something. So he was like, I'm not doing Sony. And he went back to Island Def Jam. And Sony wanted to keep us. They tried to keep us. They kept System. They tried to keep us, but we had no say. We had to go with whatever Rick said, and he wanted to keep us. And so we had to go to Island Def Jam. So it's the classic fucked up story of one label that everybody loves you. I mean, we sat with them because we were already talking to them before even the Rick Rubin stuff. We're like, we love you guys. You guys are great. You guys are rock and roll. We want a rock band. Alice in Chains should be our big rock band. They're all fucked up. We want to build, like, they wanted to like build a spin. We're going to take 3 years and we're going to build you guys to this fucking level. Your guys is shit. We're going to push the singles. We're going to do,
those were the days.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to put the effort. We're going to put the money towards support and this and that.
Money too.
We know it's going to take. We know it's going to take 2 or 3 years. We're going to put 3 years into you guys to build it up. And then you guys are going to be our fucking rock band. You guys are rock and roll. Nobody is rock and roll anymore. You guys are rock. Like, they were smart. Like, rock's coming back. You're our rock band. Ah. And we were like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay.
Because that's what they just did to, I saw that because they did that with Maroon 5.
Oh,
dude,
how can you use that word with rock, though?
Sure, but they were a rock band.
Technically,
in the beginning, they were
technically soft rock, yeah.
So yeah, but that's what they did. Yeah. I use them as an example. Not that we were the same type of rock, but I use them as an example because it was at the same era. They released that song that didn't hit, and they pushed it for like 3 fucking years, and then that song blew up. Whatever that first cool rock song that had a riff and shit.
Yeah, I think I know.
Now they're, you know, Adam Levine, fucking pop, whatever. But in the beginning, nobody cared. They released that song a couple of times. I forget the name of it. They released it a couple of times, and then the third time, it blew up. And then they're fucking.
I think his dad works in the music business, so connections.
It absolutely helps.
Nobody gets that many chances, obviously, like you said.
Absolutely helps.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Rick Rubin.
So he goes to Island Def Jam. Island Def, label Sony loved us, all about us. Island Def Jam did not give a rat's ass. Didn't know who we were. Didn't give a fuck. They had no rock. Their rock at that time was like Sum 41 and maybe Bon Jovi or something. They didn't give a fuck at all. We couldn't even get a hold of anybody. Nobody cared. It was like it happened to like 5 or 6 bands that were on American. All the same story. Where like they had to take it. Doesn't mean they cared. And we had like deadlines in our contract. If you don't meet this, you don't meet that, then we can get the fuck out and all that kind of shit. So they dropped the ball. So we didn't get dropped. We got out. We're like, okay, you missed this, you missed that. We're out. Because they just didn't give a fuck. They're like, you couldn't get anybody.
What was the album mixed, mastered, and everything?
Mixed, mastered, everything. Yep, sitting on a shelf.
But just sitting on a shelf.
Sitting on a shelf.
So where is it at now? I mean, I know
Rick Rubin's vault.
Talked personally about this over the years. So I'm always fascinated to hear more about it. And I think a lot of people don't even realize the details that happen behind all this. So
it's in Rick Rubin's vault. They found it. Another part of the story, like a few years ago. Well, a lot of years ago now. When we were doing stuff with John, we were kicking ass again. I got a hold of American, our old A&R guy. Say, look, dude, we're doing stuff. Let's get that record. Sell us the fucking record or give it to us. You guys already wrote it off your taxes or whatever. It's recouped to this and that and the other. Just like, let's get that record out. It's a great record. And they're like, oh, and we're doing stuff. Let's figure it out. And we had meetings and we had this and more meetings and they were down to do it. They're like, fuck yeah, this is a great story. I'm like, cool. I want to do a little documentary about it. Like, cool. We'll fucking give you money to do that. Da-da-da-da-da. Can I get an interview with Rick? No, but he'll give you a quote. Okay, cool. I'm cool with that. And it all went to fucking hell. Had it all set up. And this is not that long ago, 6 years ago now. Maybe more. All went to hell. They found it. They went looking for it. They couldn't find it at first, and then they found it. And it's in Rick Rubin's vault, sitting on the shelf. All ready to go. World tour, videos, everything we wanted. Yes.
Jesus.
And
you're not even on Spotify.
No. And I'm not bummed out. I guess I should do that. I'm not too bummed out. We will, I guess.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I know. It's the new thing you got to do.
It's just
that's why I've been getting the rights back to everything. Because we had to the first thing we had to hey man, this stuff is still up. You got to take it down. Like it's a whole process that kind of takes a while. It kind of sucks. So we had to wipe everything everywhere so we can put it out. So it's credits us and not somebody else. But yeah, man, I had that all set up, dude. And then not my fault. It didn't happen for certain reasons.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. So now here you are.
Here I am.
What is kind of the direction now? Like what short-term, long-term goals?
Short-term, play, write new music, put it out. We have a bunch of new stuff. Long-term, my ultimate goal has always been to get that record out. The number one reason why we're touring, new guy, sing, is to get that record out. Because I still talk to Sony, and their last words after it was ready to go and it didn't happen for certain reasons is, when you guys are active again, let us know and we'll
do something possibly.
We'll do it.
So is that one of the impetus for you to get to do this with or with John, so that you could just get
absolutely?
Yeah. Okay.
I can't go on much longer and not have that out. I mean, it's got this legendary because he's not having. Dude, it's a thorn in my side, chip on my shoulder.
Sure.
Whatever way that we can, it's just I don't give a fuck if they sell it to us.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
If they sell it to us for cheap, so then we can put it out on Ripple or something, whatever it may be, or Sony to put it out and be like, hey man, this is a crazy story. Let's put this out because it's stands up now. It's just a cool rock thing. But that's my number one 100% catalyst for doing all these things. Plus, I want to play and tour my music, absolutely. Sure. But is so we can rekindle that conversation with Sony and be like, hey, man, let's put this out. It's a crazy story. Let's do a little 20-minute doc on it so people can know the fucking story. Because there's, I watched that. If you ever watched that documentary about Death, the band called Death, have you seen that?
Oh, the punk band Death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the same, but the same. Where they were cool. They kind of fucked up, or the one brother. But anyway, that shit came out 30. I don't want to wait 35 years, but fuck it, it's like 20.
That'd be great. It'd be great.
So man, let's just get whatever it may be, and I think they would be down to do it, and it's a cool story that they can capitalize as well. Where we can just do a little mini doc, but we'll talk to all these motherfuckers and do some film fest, put the record out, play some shows. Great, yay, we did it! Thank God, I can die happy now, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those like huge thorn where I had it all set up, ready to go. Who gets a second chance? And then balls were dropped. And so that's why I'm doing it this way. We're like, let's go out and play. We'll make a buzz again and be like, hey, man, you guys got that shit laying around? Let's put it out. It's already paid for. Like, you have a free record.
Sure, yeah. Makes sense.
By the biggest names. By the biggest names in the industry, man. Jim Scott, look him up. Fucking every platinum Grammy, he's got the wall of Grammys. Joe Barresi, same shit. He's done the last 3 or 4 Tools, the last 2, 3 Slipknots. You know what I mean? He's done the Queen shit. He did all the Kaya stuff. Like, he's the dude. George Coolius, like, mega producer now. He's like film guy. Like, he does all the film soundtracks. Like, he's the, music director. We're like, okay, this scene needs this song. He's that guy. Like, he knows every song there is and the mood, and you watch that movie and it's that classic song. That's George Coolius. I mean, what did he do? What did I just see where I was like, what the fuck? I think it was, he did was it the Joker? What's his, the dark one. Joaquin Phoenix.
It's Joker.
I could be wrong. I don't know. It was one of those movies where like, what? He did that? Holy shit. I just saw some other movie he was in. He did, and he
did the score.
Yeah, not the score, but like the mood songs.
I guess. That's really
this scene, it's this 60 songs that captured he's that guy. He knows every song there fucking is and all that shit you never heard of. And that's why he found out you like this. Like, who the fuck heard of us? He's like, oh, these guys are great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'll make it happen. Cool. That's my fucking sole goal with that, and to release new music, man. I think people dig that band because that tour we did last October. I mean, I was very surprised that there's a whole new generation that are super into it. Like, I figured, like, I was gonna be all these, middle-aged dudes. We're all middle-aged dudes, and dude, it wasn't. It was tons of kids, tons, like all 20-somethings, like, into it. Like, yeah, they somehow found out about this cool little band and they were into it and showed up, and like, my dad turned me on to this shit. There's this one this guy in Italy, this kid, super cool. He's like, he came to a couple of shows, like, my dad showed me this record, I fucking love it, you play that song, oh my god, my parents song. And then his dad came to the next show. I'm like, dude, what the
nice,
super cool things like that. Where
awesome.
It felt good, where it was like, oh, cool, there's another generation that are just into it.
Yeah, well, how cool is that? I mean, just being from that, you're from the early desert, scene, obviously, when there was a big scene there. Well, at least it was a big scene, but there was a scene there with all these bands coming out of there.
Yeah.
After Kaya's. I mean, how cool is to see now? You said all these different generations. It just keeps going and going. It's not stopping. If anything, it's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Each generation, you know what I mean? Because kids are young bands all over. John, obviously, he works with a ton of bands that just have that old school desert sound, and it's just transcended all these generations. It's unbelievable how it's just bigger than ever, man. That's gotta,
it's. I mean, thank God for Europe because they get it. I've always compared to Europe, like they're more connoisseurs. America's kind of fast food for the brain, hamburger. Europeans, like, if they're into it, they're into it. They like that filet mignon, like, you know what I mean? Like, if they like
for
your
life.
band
They're into it
for life,
too.
they are into it. They stay into it. Because even again, that last tour, I saw so many people that I saw in like 99 and 2000, like that.
Right.
Saw them and since that, and then we saw them the other tours we done, but even on this, like, wow, there's you again. Holy shit! Remember we met like 1999 when that fucking dude slammed in the back of our bus and tried to get money out of us, but it was all bull. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, fuck. And they brought a ton of their friends, and it's just like really cool shit like that. Like they stay into it and they go to the show and they support and they buy the record and the shirt and America's very fast food for the brain. Like
it's a different. It's a different culture, and
absolutely.
In our pop culture has obviously become very rap, hip hop centric.
But there is definitely people that are into it.
Yeah, but I mean,
thank for you too, John, because you help. Yeah. You're a big supporter and a big part of like the scene that's here in the States. I give you mad props, man. Like, there's people like you that are doing rad shows. You're into the rad bands, like. If I want to see like what's a cool band that's like that, let me see what John's talking about right now. Oh, listen to it. Oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? So thank you on that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
man.
No, absolutely.
Thank you for doing my first Vegas Rock Revolution show ever. House of Broken Promises. You and Mikey Cancino and Joe.
Fun.
That was, God, we did a bunch of shows. That's for sure. Geez, one of the last ones was like you guys with Blackwater Rising. Which is
they were cool.
We're gonna have Rob on the show sometime. And
nice. Yeah, he's good too.
We did a good late night down there with some pizza down in Fremont Street after the show.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a night.
That was good times, man. It's always been good. I never really liked Vegas until we started doing shows with you, and I was like, all right, man, I get Vegas now. It's cool because we played there a few times.
Yeah.
Unida and HOBP, and it was just like, kind of weird. Like, I don't know, man. This is.
You really got to rally the troops here.
Yeah.
I rarely do shows. I'm doing Planet Desert Rock, stuff like that. But I have one show right now, potentially in the works. And it's because it involves an international band. Other than that, luckily I have friends who do shows. And I'll help them. And I'll do like the tunes between set using a Spotify playlist.
Nice.
Yeah, just so... it doesn't go off course, we'll say.
Absolutely.
Decent production for the show. Now, a song you guys remade, I always wondered why. Why Stroke? Which I personally love the song Stroke. But why did House of Broken Promises do Stroke?
Well, it started out when Eddie was still in the band, and then we would always play with HDR, which was Joe Mora's band. And we did our buddy Rick Kozik, who's part of the Jackass people. He was doing like a live stream thing before people were live streaming at Center Stage in LA, and both our bands played, and I'm like, man, we gotta jam a song together, like something cool, not something we do, not something you do, like let's pick a song. And I forget how it'll come to me how we picked the Stroke, but I forget. I don't know if I came up, but Joe came up. I don't know. Somehow we're like something different. I always like to do something different, not like, okay, we're going to do a Black Sabbath song or something.
Right.
I mean, I'll do that too.
You did do Lady Evil, though.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I mean, I'll do, but it's Dio Black Sabbath. So anyway, it turned into where we did do that on that live stream thing, and it was cool. And then when Joe got in the band, and of course we do it our way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we were first we jammed it with them, and like we're doing it like the normal way. I'm like, guys, I can't do that. It drives me nuts. Like it was so boring. I'm like, let's fuck this shit up. Like this part. Come on, let's get some Motorhead in there or something. And then when we tracked it, we did it that way, and it was cool. Later, when we asked Joe to join the band and all that stuff.
That was great. It's a fun song to hear live.
Yeah, man, people dig it. I love it.
I'll tell you a weird thing. When I was a little kid, I love that song, but I never realized what it was about. And I thought it was about a rowing team. And they're like, Stroke.
It's not.
I'm not shitting you.
It's not.
And I might have figured it out maybe
when I
was 21 or something. Yeah, that.
I always thought it was Rolling
you
Team.
start talking about the eye on top and all that. It was like, oh, no. Like, oh
Dude,
god.
Billy Squire was badass. I always loved that song.
Making a comeback.
And I always heard it like in my head the way we did it. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, let's do that. And,
yeah, it's so good.
And then he danced in a video and ruined his whole career.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. Rock Me Tonight. That was horrible.
Yeah, why do people
Much
do that?
pastel colors and bad decision. Probably a record label. Just someone stupid. Potentially early woke.
I saw him. I worked a show. I do production stuff. It was Ringo Starr's thing. You know, he always has different musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was awesome. But it was Billy Squire. It was I forget his name, the dude from
Lukather?
Down Down Under. What's that guy's name? I forget his name. And Sheila E. But Billy Squire, and they did the stroke. Dude, he killed it, man. Like, it was so fucking cool. I'd
like to see him live.
I set up.
I've never seen him.
The tech was cool. Ringo's drum tech, and we were talking tech shit. He knew I knew what the fuck. So he's like, he let me help him set up Ringo Starr's drum kit and shit. And I'm like, oh fuck, oh Ringo Starr, oh shit, oh here you go. Yeah. Looking at it, it's like badass Ludwig. This like, fuck, this is Ringo Starr. And then Ringo Starr comes like, oh, you know what I mean? I love the Beatles, whatever. It's the fucking Beatles. People hate my chick hates the Beatles. I'm like, babe.
Yeah, I mean, they're still the Beatles.
I'll get you there.
Beatles, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't need to listen to the Beatles anymore. I heard them a lot, but mad respect for them. Good God.
Dude,
I mean, what they did is
me and Mike.
Songs are, good musicians.
Way back, me and Mike had like a big era of like, there was nothing but the Beatles all day, every day for like, I don't know, a year or something. Like, swear to God, like we covered Beatles shit in our metal band. We would do fucking metal versions of Beatles shit. Like, we were just fucking Beatles. It was crazy.
Now, another House of Broken Promises question. So you did a video involving a lot of girls dancing. Remember that one?
Obey the Snake. Obey the Snake.
Obey the Snake. Huh. And is that Heidi from Butcher Babies in that?
It's both of them, actually. Yeah, the chicks in the what do you call it? The wrestling masks. That's the Butcher Babies. Yeah.
Wow.
Both of them. Okay.
Pre-Butcher Babies, because they were in a band. Right. What was the name of their band before? Stiletto something. They were like, before the Butcher Babies, there was 4 of them. I mean, they had a band, but there was 4 chick singers, and they were trying to do like a Steel Panther thing, but with 4 chick singers. And they would same thing. They would do covers, but they would do them like, they dress scantily with their tits out or tape, whatever, all that kind of shit, and like have a fake bottle of Jack and do that whole shtick thing. And it was got something. I forgot what they call it. It was like Stiletto Murder. I don't know. It was something like that. They would play the Roxy and stuff like that. It was all right. It was cool. But those two, after that, went nowhere. That's when they started Butcher Babies. But I knew them because they were cool. We used to hang out. And then I'm like, I'm doing this video. I need this, that, and that. And they were super cool to be in it. And I guess I should put Butcher Babies on it now or something. But
yeah, I'll actually see her tonight. She's performing on this thing Mike Varney put together.
Oh, right.
With musicians doing
who, Carla or Heidi?
Heidi.
Heidi, the blonde, right?
Heidi. Yeah, she lives here now.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And Varney's doing something with it's like a Dio / Sabbath / Rainbow.
Is he playing?
He's kind of producing the whole night, or co-producing, I'd say. I don't think he's getting up there to play this time, but
that'd be cool.
Jason
I'd
Walker
go to that.
Jason Walker. Yeah. He played. I think he's played a show or two that you have, and a bunch of really interesting people. Vinny Appice,
nice.
Phil Susan. Yeah, Vinny will be there.
Wow.
Yeah, he lives here now too.
Everybody's moving to Vegas.
There's no state taxes here, brother.
I know.
Been telling you that.
I'm gonna buy something there soon. Once I get
not that cheap anymore.
Once I get my parking lot finished and I'm making money with that, I'm gonna buy some Vegas.
Passive.
Yeah. Parking lots, bro. That's what you gotta do.
Yes, I agree. Now, and so, House Broken Promises just kind of on hold, I guess. Right now,
you know what? Yeah, because for me, COVID was like the best thing that could have happened at that time for me. It made me realize how burnout I was, how sick of everything I was, how sick of everybody I was. I was sick of it all because I'm the guy that does everything. Some people help or they'll help for a little while and then they won't help. And then it's just, so I was fucking not happy. I was burnt out. It made me realize how burnt the fuck I seriously burnt out, man. You can probably ask Mike. He's like, yeah, he was fucking, I just was not happy. It wasn't fun. It wasn't this. It was like, if we're going to do something cool, it was just, it's pain in the ass. I got to do everything. It sucks. What the fuck? Everybody come on now. And then, it just, COVID hit and I got a fresh start. And I mean, that whole, our new record, it's been done. It's just now figuring out when to put it out.
Interesting.
It's been done. It's been done for a while. It's just like, COVID hit. And then it's just like, all right, now things are coming back, but it's like, let's plan it and do it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely for my own sanity, like when that happens, like we got to sit down with everybody and be like, okay, guys, let's do this, but let's do it this way. Because it has to be, I don't want to get that feeling again of being burnt out and not happy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I look back like, dude, I did probably 20 plus years of just killing myself nonstop. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, and it worked. And I did a lot of rad shit and I accomplished a lot of things and yada, yada, yada. But I still wasn't, it just got so much where, I'm serious. I'm doing all the Photoshop.
Oh, I think
I'm doing that.
I think we get it.
Yeah,
we get it. We know a guy, Eric from formerly of Void Vader, very similar in many ways. Eric, you know Eric.
Yeah, totally,
from Void Vader, right?
Yeah.
You guys putting on shows together. And he's a workhorse too. He's in the industry, and it's interesting. There's only so much you can do before there is that point of like fry.
Yeah, I got that point.
Now for a lot of people that don't realize you're a working guy in the biz, and you go on tours with different bands.
Yeah.
Give us a few of those bands. Besides Slipknot, we know Slipknot, which is super cool. And
I did Slipknot for like 15 years. Then I did Limp Bizkit for like 5 or 6 years. And that was a blast. I got to say, nobody likes Limp Bizkit, but like a live band, dude, they are amazing. They do kill it. Like whether you like their music or not. I was never a Limp Bizkit fan, but working for them and like, dude, they kill it live. They're all badass musicians. Like Wes is a fucking,
he's good. Mm-hmm.
He's super cool, super innovative. He makes everything that he wears and all. Like he makes it. Like he paints himself up. Like I don't know how he does it, but like he does his whole back by himself. Like nobody's coming and helping him.
Too. Yeah, it's always
he's an artist. Like he paints and he makes the mask. Like he's that dude, and he's cool as shit. And Sam's cool, the bass player. Everybody's DJ Lethal, dude. I hung out with Lethal a lot. That guy's nuts. He's fucking so cool, fun. I mean, he likes to party too much, but. I mean, I never had Fred's cool. I mean, Fred's Fred. But as far as working for them, dude, it was awesome. I would go work for them again for sure. Because nobody cares here, but everywhere else in the world, they're still Limp Bizkit.
Sure,
so, they rolled right. They weren't like the band's in this hotel, the crew's in that hotel. We're in the same fucking hotels. Everybody hangs out. They paid right. You know what I mean? I mean, even like their per diem when I did, it was like $65 a day. Like nobody does that anymore. Nobody does that anymore. That's a whole nother paycheck. You know what I mean? Like, because you're not spending shit. You're on tour. I mean, days off or whatever, you buy some shit, but like, dude, they fucking pile that up. That's great. We did this one tour. It was like a vacation. It was all they did was festivals. They didn't do any of their own shows, maybe one or two of their own shows. So it was like a big giant festival where like, they're headlined, and then we had 3 days off. So like we had like 3 days off in Frankfurt and 3 days off in Vienna and 5 days in Moscow. Like every fucking place we had 2 or 3 days off. And what another cool part of it, Cadaver, who is Wes's tech, like he was the best day off guy ever. Like he's like, all right, guys, he would go find all the rad, weirdest shit. You guys want to go? And we're like, let's go. And, we went to the Swiss Alps. Like, we played this festival in Switzerland called Interlaken. And we, they headlined. So we, load in first in the morning, sound check, got it all dialed done. We're done by like 10 a.m. And he's like, okay, cool. So if we go over there, you see that? There's a train. We'll have the runner take us to the train. The train's going to take us over here. And then we're going to go to a fucking, a tram. And then another train, another tram. And we're in the Swiss Alps. You want to go? Yes, let's go. And this was like an 8-hour excursion where like we got the runner jumped off of the train. We bought the train, whatever, like a 40-minute fucking ride to a tram, up this fucking mountain to another train, to another fucking tram. Like, we're in the Swiss Alps. You ever seen that old James Bond movie where like they're skiing and they're shooting at them and the evil guy lair? This is the place that was the evil guy lair up in the mountain. So it's called Shrillhorn, and the whole thing rotates. That was probably the movie too. Like, the whole thing rotates, so you can sit there and drink coffee or beer and just like.
That's sick.
Different view of the Swiss fucking Alps. It was like the second highest place in all of Europe. This is like 8-hour excursion. They're like, oh, we did all that. Come back down.
Yeah.
And all the way up, there's like cows with the bells just sitting right there. Giant waterfall shooting over the train because it's just the snow melting. It's like this crystal icy blue water river, like insane. Like, you never just all that shit. Come back. 8 hours later. Oh, we gotta go. Fucking, they go on at 11. We got back at like 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock. Damn. And Wes goes in there and starts fucking, and then they fucking rocked the show. It was insane. And we did that shit all the time. Yeah. There's so many. We were in Argentina. We went to that. I forget what it's called. It's that cemetery where it's all the mausoleums, and Evita Perón was buried there and all this shit. It's just like insane shit all the time. What's here that's insane? Let's go. And we went and saw it. We were in Germany and, same thing. Bus, this, that. And we go to this. It's like they give you a tour. It's like this underwater lake, they call it. Because it was a mine and it flooded. So it's like a lake inside this mountain. And you get in boats and you're in a mountain on a lake. And we did that, but they don't advertise it. But once you're in there on the tour, they tell you, oh, yeah, well, this is where during the war, this is where the Nazis built the first jet plane.
Oh, wow.
Because you walk in and there's just like this, tunnel, and they would build the fuselage because they build it in this giant mountain because they're bombing the shit out of them. And they would build it in there. And there was like an inch around where they can shoot out the fuselage and then send it to where they first built the jet. Just crazy shit like that, where there's plane parts. But then they tell you too, oh yeah, well, this is where there was like 2,500 Jews in here building it, and they all died. Crazy shit like that. They don't have.
But I mean, it's history, and
it's
that's
history.
what's really it's fascinating to see. These
I like
things. You never get to do it. Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
Even having to hear and see about the bad shit.
Yes.
The reality is, it's still history.
You can't forget the bad shit because then
you can't forget it either. It's really now. Who else? Who are you with nowadays? You're like.
I do this band called Slightly Stupid.
Oh yeah, San Diego band. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they were like they're like a
band. reggae, island reggae type punk
reggae, band. Just with a little bit of Grateful Dead, with a little bit of punk rock.
Some Fish fans seem to like.
Yeah. They
dudes, Miles, dudes, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Miles, like badass musicians. They kind of took over where I guess Sublime kind of left off because he died. Because that's how they got their start. He signed them. What's his name? Noel. I forget. Brain fart. He signed them when they were like in high school still. They started to they started putting out their records. So like, they're like, definitely, I call it white boy reggae. It's reggae with a little bit of punk rock. They do like a Grateful Dead song, but I mean, all badass musicians, and it's fun. It's chill. Yeah, and they do it. It works for me now too because I don't want to be gone all the fucking time like I used to. I want to be home. I'm about to do a summer tour with them, and even that they do like Thursday through Sunday, and then 3 days off.
Nice.
And that the whole tour is that. It's like 4 days on, 3 days off. 4 days on, 3 days off. So you can go home if you got shit to do or need to do whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So it's and then besides the summer, you know, it's like just festivals here and there. Nothing grueling. I don't want to do grueling. I did a lot of grueling and
how big are the shows?
Dude,
not the festival ones, but the regular shows. How many people go to those shows?
They sell out Red Rocks 2 nights in a row. And Red Rocks is like
nice,
almost 10,000.
They play some interesting places too, a little off the beaten path. I mean, I know they played out north here at this town called Murphy's. It's like by the foothills, and they sell that out. It's like some winery and
Yes, yeah. We did that. That place was rad.
That's
That's
awesome,
what they
right?
do too, though. They pick all the like most scenic venues that you can get. That's the kind of their vibe too, because all of them are like that vineyard. That place was beautiful. You know, like we started in like there's multiple venues where it's this, you know, amphitheater, and then behind it is like a mountain and a stream. Like we started it last summer in Montana or Wyoming, where it was like picturesque, a mountain. There's some fucking deer running. Like what? And then there's this river flowing, and that's the backdrop. Then it's this amphitheater, and they're.
Well, imagine
it's cool.
A lot of the fans enjoy marijuana and mushrooms and acid.
I'm sure they do.
That makes it,
weed on that tour is for real. It is everything's weed.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, you know, people like the fans. It's an excuse to go out and have a trip.
Yeah,
literally.
Exactly.
It's like a.
I get it.
There's a lot of young people, but it's mostly an older crowd. And yeah, tons of weed. They always have Don Carlos come out and Charlie Tuna, if you remember him from Jurassic 5. It's a cool, fun vibe. Yeah. I've never been in like that reggae world kind of thing because my buddy Ty from Alien Ant Farm, he was working for them because we did Godsmack together, and he hit me up to fill in for him on some stuff that he couldn't do, and then it kind of snowballed into like I would fill in for him, and then I guess they liked me and they wanted me on also, so it was kind of me and him doing.
Oh, that's right.
The tech stuff.
You did stuff with Godsmack too.
Yeah, I got after Limp Bizkit. I did Godsmack, same thing for like 5-something years. I think 5 years is like where it's the limit.
Yeah.
You get like, I mean, Godsmack was fun. Godsmack was great. I tech for Sully. You know what I mean? He's cool. But just like anything else, like
yeah. You put in a lot of time, done a lot.
All the cool people left. Ty left because he started doing Slightly Stupid, and then I was doing it. And they were bringing back people they fired 10 times, 20 times already, and I'm just like, what's going on? Man, this ain't fun. I'm out of here. Fuck this shit. I went on some rant. They didn't like it.
Oh, you want a rant?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a famous rant.
Oh man, famous too.
Now you got coming up. Ripple Fest and SoCal Heavy Jam.
Yeah, stoked, man.
About 7 days of each other, so super excited. I know both the guys that run these festivals, or I know all the guys at SoCal, and then obviously Ryan Garney and them, and really super happy. You and him linked up, made that happen. That was something a while back. I was like,
oh yeah, man, I'm stoked on Ripple Fest. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about what are you going to do between those 2 dates?
We're probably going to add another show somewhere, probably LA. Colin McCoy, who plays with Unida now, he's got 800 bands.
Yes, he does.
Dude, he's the shit. I love Colin, man. Like doing that European.
He's a beast on stage.
And that's what I love because I knew him, but I didn't really know him. And then starting to jam with him and stuff. Like he's into all the stuff me and Mike were into that we kind of used to get hated on. You like shred stuff, you know what I mean? Like he was bummed that when we played Vegas, and we told him later, I was like, "Oh, dude, fucking," show him a picture of Mike Varney and all that. He's like, "Yeah, oh, he's so crazy. He comes to our shows. He's so like, he doesn't even know." He's like, "What, Mike Varney? Oh, fuck, man! The one time I leave early, like he was all bummed because he was a big, Shrapnel Records fan, and he likes to tear it up, and he likes to go fucking level 10 and all that shit. And that's what's cool about, that's what's cool about Unida now too. Is like we're, it's fucking level 10. Where we kind of had to keep it a little tamer in the old days, But now it's just like, dude, that's fucking
Right.
war. Let's go to war.
So you're thinking LA maybe for another day, the day before?
Yeah, because when Mark flies in, we're gonna do Ripple Fest, and then we're gonna do stuff in the studio, track vocals and stuff, and then I want to add another show, whether it be a desert show or we might do something at Colin's, his spot, Suspiria, is that what it's called, right? Which we're most likely definitely do. We might do both. Might do a desert and the LA one because,
SoCal Heavy Jam. That's
yeah.
it's a great.
We gotta do another
1-2
Sounds of the
punch.
Heavy, man. I was gonna talk to you about that. We
You
gotta
let me
bring
know.
that back, man. I got a cool place
Yeah.
to do it too. There's this ranch kind of out in Thermal area that would be super cool to do. I did a couple of audio gigs there for like high schools and stuff, doing like their FFA dinner. Anyway, but talking to that owner, like he wants to do more stuff. He wants to do some rock or some reggae. He wants to do whatever, He built it to be like an event space. So I'm like, I'm probably gonna do a cool rock thing out here.
Nice.
That's wild.
So
I mean, High Desert's cool, but
That's very cool.
it'd be cooler to do something that's not in the high desert. All Bar would have been cool. Maybe there again, but who knows? Everything's been, high desert's getting kind of really super gentrified.
So quick, Arthur, Frank Kozik, we talked about him before real quick, Man's Ruin Records. What can you tell us about him? Obviously, first record you guys put out, full length. Couple with the Urban Coyote, obviously, on that label.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about Frank.
Frank was awesome, man. He gave us a chance. He gave us like $5,000 and let us go record, and we did it at Monkey Studios, and we did it in like 7 days from like start, tracked, finished, mixed in 7 or less days. And that's when John and Mike were working together. They were, vet techs, and I was smart and took vacation. I'm like, I'm gonna enjoy this because Monkey Studio had a pool, and I'd go early and chill in the pool. I'm in the studio today, yeah. Those motherfuckers going to work 7 a.m. They would get out of work, come to the studio. We record all night. They would shoot each other in the ass with B12. They'd get it from work and shoot each other in the ass with B12 before we start. And like that song, You Wish on that record. Like, dude, Mike is literally falling asleep while he's playing that song. Like, no joke.
It's a long song, too.
Yeah. He's like, because we'd be in there till 2-4 in the morning, and then they'd have to be at work at 7 and work all day, and then come back. And we did that for 7 days straight and recorded all. But Frank was cool. We're like, he gave us that chance. He gave us the money, and it was a 50-50 deal even back then. He's like, dude, 50-50 fucking deal. Everything, boom, done. And we're like, thank you. I think he did. Funny story. I think he did get a little butthurt because we kind of told him how to do the artwork, and that was his whole thing. He's
the art
Frank
guy.
Kozik. He's an artist. But it was that era of like, there was a lot of Planet of the Apes going on. And we were like, man, I don't want Planet of the Apes, man. Because he did Fatso, and it was Planet of the Apes. And there was like a lot of bands. All of a sudden, I guess he had a Planet of the Apes phase.
Yeah.
And we were all like, John, and all were like, man, I don't want Planet of the Apes. I mean, I love Planet of the Apes. I'm like, that's already had it in that band.
I don't even know if I do.
And
it kind of creeped me out.
And then, so like the cover you have, like the car, that's my car. That's my 57 Ford Fairlane.
Okay, nice.
So that's actually a pamphlet, because where the studio is, where we rehearse, used to be across the street, like seriously, like 2-minute walk, was a dog pound. And we would go in there, we're pet people, man, like massively. So there was this pamphlet in the dog pound. That's the name of the record. The pamphlet was coping with the urban coyote.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it was a pamphlet of how, deal with coyotes in the urban aspect and all that shit. So the cover is that pamphlet. And then I told him, hey man, because it was like a Pinto or something. I don't know what the fuck it was. I'm like, can you put my car instead of that car? And he's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. So I took pictures of my car, like the same angle of that car, and he photoshopped that in. And then the back cover with the dog, the whatever that collie thing, whatever the fuck that thing is, that was a picture in Mike and John's vet that they worked. It was on the wall, so they took a picture of that, and he warped it and stuff. we kind of, and then the inside thing was like this Coyote Hotel, and that's from Dust Till Dawn 2.
Okay.
There's a scene where it takes place in the Coyote Hotel, and so I took a picture of the screen, and so we sent him all the things. This is how he wanted. And I don't think he liked that because
they like their vision.
He likes to do. He's the artist. He's Frank Kozik. I get it,
but you're an artist too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, we didn't.
You're outspoken a little bit.
We didn't want Planet of the Apes. But I think he got kind of. I think he got kind of a little butthurt because he was definitely an artist. Like he had that artist temperament. You know what I mean? I'll tell you another story about him. But like, so like, he never made us a cool Unida poster like he did for everybody else. Because after that, he got a little. You could tell he got a little salty about it. And I'm like, nice.
Well,
And then I was at, but he was cool as shit, man. We can thank him for. I got the ball rolling. That record got the ball rolling for Rick Rubin. Just a cool rock record. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was our Cole Electric record. Me and John. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which album had my favorite song, Black Woman, on it?
That one. We actually did Black Woman for this compilation in Europe first. It was like a few months before this I forget who put it out, but it was just this compilation, and they gave us a little bit of money, and we recorded that. That's why when you listen to Black Woman and you listen to the other songs, they're a little different. They're a little sonically different because we recorded that a few months earlier, or not that long earlier, and then we went in and did all that. But we added that because all it came out was on a compilation. So we're like, fuck that record's dope. I mean, that song's dope. Put that on that record. But I was in Frisco one time, and I went to the headquarters. Frank Kozik. I'm like, I want to go check that out. And I knew everybody worked there, cool people. And I went in there, I flew in, went down there. I'm like, oh wow, because it was crazy. It was just art shit, and this posters and like, vintage TVs and this and radios, just weird shit everywhere as you can imagine. But like going into it, there's like a hole in the wall, like next to the door. Like, I'm like, what happened there? Oh, Frank lost his key, so he punched a hole through the drywall. Open the door. I'm like, what? That's crazy. And I'm in there, and I'm like in the bathroom, whatever, and I'm like looking at this other shit. And he comes in, and somebody had like broke the antenna off this like weird artwork TV or something he had, or this vintage thing. I don't know. And he like lost it, like snapped, and just berated everybody and ripped everybody an asshole for like 5 minutes. And I'm just like, oh shit. I'm just like, oh shit. I don't think he even knows me. I'm just sitting in the corner, like, dude, awkward as fuck. Because, like, dude, he like flipped the fuck out. I was like, whoa, the hole in the wall makes sense now. And then, kind of snuck out. I'm like, hey man, let's come back later. And then the people who work there, they're like, hey, yeah, Frank was like, oh, hey, was that Arthur? And they're like, yeah, that was Arthur. He's like, oh, well, tell him I said hi. Come back. All calm and normal, like nothing ever happened. But dude, he was like, I'm like, fuck, I thought he was gonna rip off the other thing and start beating people and shit. Like, he was an artist.
I mean, that's sometimes you got to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not bagging him. I'm not dogging him for it. I was like, woo, damn, dude. Like, yeah. I mean, you ask, whoever that worked there. I'm still friends with them. They're cool. What's her name? Lane. She worked there for a long time. And I remember like, I mean, I have a ton of those posters. Like, it's crazy. I remember her back then. She's like, because when I win, I want some posters. These shit, I love posters. They hooked me up with a bunch. She's like, oh yeah, I have a couple of each. That's gonna put my kid through fucking college later. I'm like, you're probably right.
Yeah,
he was a cool guy, man. We did the South by Southwest and that Troubadour show. We did a few things, and he was always super cool, man. Just a cool, nutty dude that liked good music, and his label was the label of that era of good rock music. You know what I mean? Caius and Queens. Like, he started so many fucking rad bands where people look to that label. Like, what's fucking cool underground? Like, that label has Helicopters, this, that, just like rad shit. Like, he was just into good music. And
Yeah.
You know, and it was a no bullshit deal. It was 50-50. That's just it. Here's your money. You know, not that much. Cool. We'll make that work. And 50-50 down the line, you sell it. And yeah, man. And it's like, that's awesome. And no bullshit. Yeah. And then when he did close it, he sent us all the CDs he had. He said, hey, man, I'm calling it a day. Here you go. And we got 8 billion fucking boxes of fucking CD. I have like 3 still, like full boxes.
I need one. I need one.
I'll get you one. I mean, this is like the original pressing with the fucking explicit lyric sticker on it and shit. Oh, yeah. Like 99 or it was like late 99. Like,
give me 2 of them. One I'll listen to, one I'll keep.
Yeah. I'll give that to you. Yeah. No, because awesome. Like, dude, those go for like $100 and shit on eBay and shit like that.
Like,
give
me 10 of them.
It's the original fucking thing with the explicit lyric bullshit. I remember, like, because I was kind of close to that era of the PMRC and all that shit.
Yeah.
And I remember getting that CD and going, oh, wow. That is kind of fucking annoying. That sucks. But you know what? That's cool too. Fuck you. Because he says fuck, you know, a couple times, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, John, I'll hook you up, man.
Well, speaking of Urban Coyotes and John here, I'm gonna want you to play you this real quick, Arthur. This was John. Shit. This is John. John, go ahead and tell them the story about your little excursion.
There's some Urban Coyotes.
There you go.
Out at Lake Las Vegas Sunday. And I took a walk, did 3 miles, just walking around. It's a beautiful area out and I'm driving back up the hill to leave Lake Las Vegas. And fucking there's coyotes.
They don't give a fuck.
And like cars just stop. So yeah, it was 3 of them. That one right there is creeping around.
What part of Vegas?
Lake Las Vegas, which you would not know.
What part? East, west?
Lake Las Vegas, east. It's over by Lake Mead.
Oh, okay.
It's a beautiful little area. It's like a planned community that really didn't ever take off.
They're fucking eating all your dogs and cats. That's why they're there.
Were they feeding them, John? Because I seen people were they throwing stuff in the cars?
Yeah, someone's throwing.
Oh, that's stupid.
I don't know if they're throwing them hot dogs or whatever the fuck. But when I was on my way out there was tremendous amount of construction and stuff, like in the middle of these desert areas, which is funny because it's not like we got any water.
Yeah, right.
Around here. So, but
you just fed them something.
That's
not cool.
Yeah. I've seen coyotes since I've lived here. I lived up in the suburbs in Seven Hills. I see them at night. But this is the first time I've ever seen them during the day.
See, that sucks. They're feeding them. Now they're going to get used to that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're going to come in and they're going to eat your fucking little dog. And I have a little dog, so I have 2 little dogs. Me and Jetta have 2 little dogs. And they're going to come in. They're going to eat your fucking dogs and cats, man. I mean, they're beautiful. I love them. But like, they come in to fucking fuck your shit up. But that was the pamphlet, Coping with the Urban Coyote. It was all that.
Yeah.
How to deal with that and don't feed them and be careful of your pets and all that shit. Because, you know, they run in packs. They'll fuck you up. When I lived on the ranch when I was a kid, like, packs of them would come in and we had chickens and all that shit and they would just fucking decimate, man. They would come in and tear that shit to threads. We had like little piglets at one time too. They would come in and fucking shred all the piglets. It was crazy.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah. My dad would fucking shoot them. He did. Well, I remember a little kid. It was like, you know, fucking probably 50, 75 yards, running full speed. And he went out there, that motherfucker, and nail it. My dad was like the sharpshooter police Olympics competition guy.
Yeah, you like the shoot.
Yeah, man. I did a thing this morning for sure. Yeah, I like the competition. I'm like, you know, end of the world guy where like I carry every day. I have my CCW. I have my permit. I'm legal. I train, I practice and all that. I did a class this morning. But I like the competition. It's fun, man. You know, that's my whatever
release or whatever.
Yeah. If it's not music or that, I like to do that. That's my other passion where I it's fun. It relaxes me, and I like to be prepared. The world's getting fucking nuttier, and you know, we're probably gonna need that here soon.
Good chance of it at this point. Where it's going, man.
Dude, like seriously, it's like they're pushing that on us. They want us. They want it.
They want you to do it exactly. They do. So you can take them away. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's
you produce some albums as well. If I'm not mistaken, you did Stakes Slab City. I just had Steak here for Planet Desert Rock two.
How was that?
Yeah, 3. Really, it was great.
Sweet. Yeah, they're good
Success.
guys. Reese is a smart guy. He does Desert Fest. Like
So smart.
that festival
Yeah.
is such a great festival.
Wow. Massive.
Last fall when we did Desert Fest Belgium. That's one of my favorites. I mean, we've done them all pretty much, but Belgium, beautiful country, and they have their shit together. That fest, that venue is spot on. Everybody, the crew, everybody that works it, like it's so well done. You know, this main stage, we played the main stage. We were first on the main stage. It was fucking awesome. Just treated right. The right people, you know, doing the audio, doing the video. Oh, you guys, here's the video. Send it to you. Boom, boom. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, everything like food, this, that, drink, whatever you need. Like,
they got it down, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude, it's everywhere. I was talking to him to do it here, but like we were making progress, and then I think they kind of delayed that. They do the New York one, and I'm like, hey, man, let's bring it here. I know I got the perfect place to do it. It'll be fucking dope. They flew out. We looked at all the spots, and
that was the Heavy Psych Sounds weekend, wasn't it? They flew out.
I think so.
Like,
but then they wanted to buy land and just have it so they can keep doing it. I'm like, that's cool. Do it. Get it now because it's ain't, you know,
right.
Nothing's gonna be left.
Wow, that's a big investment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. But that was a great album too, as well.
Yeah, it was fun.
John Garcia even was on the song "Pisser" with them. And, what's interesting, Arthur, is Steak added another guitarist.
Oh, like what? 3? Are they doing Iron Maiden or what?
No, just 2.
Reese is not playing guitar. Or? Oh, that's right. He was only. That's right. There was only him.
And the other guy does some singing as well.
Nice.
And so it really adds this other layer. They did an unbelievable set at Vamped. I'd say people walked away from Planet Desert Rock talking about them.
Oh, I bet.
Most of any band. And people were blown away. We're like, holy shit, High Desert Queen just packed in action. And John Garcia, was so cool to see him do, you know, acoustic, like right there with us, you know, very intimate, advanced. And there were so many good bands. But Steak was interesting. And when the lighting, they finally figured out, keep the fucking lights down. When I look around, I'm like, man, with these kind of music, do not have it bright white lights all the time, you know? And they had it where it was more of a redder.
Yeah, I watched some stuff. Yeah, it looked cool.
It's just so memorable, you know, when you can align those things production-wise. But
production's a big part of it, man. You got to be. So that's why I always bring my own lights and make sure I know at least I have something that's going to be cool and look good. Whether they have nothing or not, or they care or don't care.
Yeah. How you backlined Planet Desert Rock 2. And then we did, remember that?
Yeah.
You did all the guitars for all the, and 8 European bands coming down. And so,
that was great.
Helped with that. And then we did that show the day before Stone and Dust did the heavy, God, what the hell did you call it earlier? The show we did.
Oh, Sounds of the Heavy.
Sounds of the Heavy. Big day there.
Yeah, that worked out good, man.
Like 6-7 bands.
That show worked out so well that they tried to steal our date the next year.
Oh. Yeah. And
those other people that were throwing a show. Because I told the guy, hey, let's say the same date this weekend. We'll do this and that and the other. And then I hit him up. They're like, oh, they took that date. Right. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I know,
it was the whole thing.
You know how it is.
Those different entities that aren't around anymore, and they split, and then it's the music business, people.
I still have people tell me that they really loved that night. It was like for many people, they took the chance and they got the wisdom of discovery. And seeing Saturna, Omega Sun, Green Desert Water. I feel like I'm skipping someone. I feel horrible.
Dude, everybody, what's that one guy with? He does all the parody songs now. He's killing it.
Oh yeah, Udo from
Kaiser. Dude, that guy is killing all those songs.
Unbelievable.
Killing it, man. I saw on somebody else posted on some other bigger thing. I'm like, dude. I said, hey man, keep it up, dude. You found your niche.
Yeah. He's the producer, so he knows how to, make things sound a certain way, we'll say. And it's unbelievable. He mixes Caius with Stone Age 1 minute and this the next. So yeah, we had a lot of talent that day, and we had that Afrobeat band come over from LA.
Yeah. I had Colin doing his Diesel Boots things out in the patio.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the owner loved it. He was super stoked. He's like, let's do it again. Let me know. I'm like, yeah, dude, next year. It's like, say the day. Boom, boom, boom. I hit him up like, hey, make sure you say the day. Oh, yeah. And then that other bigger fest, like, tried to steal it, but then they didn't. But then everything went to hell anyway. Then COVID hit, and it all went to hell.
There you go.
But yeah, we should figure that out, man. That'd be cool.
You never know. Yeah, sure. And we'll get you back here sometime or another as well. It'd be great to get Unida back here.
Absolutely.
And I'll be at both shows, man. SoCal Heavy Jam down
There's probably
San Diego's was so good.
There's probably a reasonable flight from New Jersey to Vegas, so
yeah,
very doable.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it might be for the right situation. I'll actually do a show in Vegas, and that would be the kind to do and have a good runway for it so people know about it.
Absolutely.
Well,
we'll talk about like when these early Unida songs come out and stuff like that. We'll do something cool. Because we're going to put those for we're just figuring out artwork. It's kind of slow because some people take a little longer to make decisions and all that. So the music's done. It's just like, all right, let's figure out. I found some old flyers from that era that, say 13, because we did a bunch of shows under that moniker. So we're just gonna put out something cool, find some old, decide on like, oh, I've got the archives, dude. I've got us live at CBGB's. I got us live at Hellfest. I got us live at all this crazy shit. It's just picking the ones that everybody likes, to add some cool stuff to those. And I've got crazy demo versions of stuff. Like I have all the original demos from that Sony record that we did here in my place. On like a fucking 8-channel fucking DA78 and stuff that are really cool.
Yeah, man, you're loaded to bear. So I think people are really gonna get to see.
I'm just trying to get all that stuff out there. Do the Unida stuff and these new, and then the new Unida songs, and then let's sit down with Joe and Mike and figure out the HOBP stuff, and then.
You said you have a solo record.
I'm doing a solo record. I got a bunch of songs done. My girlfriend, we're doing some songs together too. That's gonna be part of my solo stuff or stuff that we do because she's a fucking phenomenal singer. So I'm gathering everything and then just trying to plan it right. Because like I said in the beginning, adulting, my mom's at the age where, she's 88. I've been taking care of her for like 3 years straight. Like, every meal and this and that and diapers and stuff. I finally came to a point where, she needs more help than I can do. So I have her in that hospice and stuff. And then her house caught on fire. So I've been dealing with that, like total loss, gutted it to the studs, stuff like that. Adulting where it's like, took 2 years to get the permits from the city just to even start. You know what I mean? Like everything's like insane. Like, man. Pain. Oh, dude, the bureaucracy and red tape is phenomenal. It's so pain. It's like, man, I'm just trying to get it done. Just trying to get and the insurance cancels the policy, but they still have to cough up.
Yep.
And it's just this and everything's like, okay, I did the roof. Oh, but 2, you said 10, but these 3, no, got what? And like, hey man, you said this. I spent 9,000 on plans. Dude, like the insane. You need a permit to wipe your ass. You know what I mean? Build a doghouse. You need a permit. It's just fucking, the rear neighbor's nuts. He's like throwing rocks on my contract. Just, dude, like beyond, like, it's like, what the? I'm just trying to get the fucking thing done. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's very admirable that you are and everything. I have much respect for you, my friend, and just keep doing the thing. And I think that you and I both agree, and I think Matt's right there with us. You need that music needs to be heard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It needs to be heard live.
That's why I'm doing it.
And I'm going to keep pushing you that it's important to get it on Spotify. It's a very important medium. I know you just don't think about what
I'll get it there. Like I said, we're getting.
You got to get it on there because
finally got the rights back to everything where we had to wipe it all.
Mm-hmm,
and then put it on as that.
Yeah.
That's where Ripple's going to come to play. We've been talking to them and
Todd.
to Todd, and he's super cool and gets it. And
I think I introduced you to him.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I fully was aware of, they're the
one of them.
Yeah,
him and Heavy Psych and Easy Rider, and
Yeah, I think Ripple has a great reputation. Todd has a great reputation. And that's why we lean to them, because not everybody has a great reputation. He has a great reputation. We've talked to him. He's really cool. He's a big cult head too. So we're like, this guy. So that's definitely going to be where we're going to get a lot of this stuff out, and same thing. Cool, like Man's Ruin deal, a positive deal, X amount of time, get it back, no bullshit.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's just get this stuff out so people can hear it, and this new stuff and the old stuff, and
Ripple's really they're doing something with Romano right now, which of course is John's last project before doing the solo stuff, and Obsessed is coming up. So it's we know Heavy Psych, they have a lot of the Desert Heads, the Brants and some of those folks like that, Yanni Man, I think, but Ripple is carving out these certain big players as well. So I think it's really
they got a good vibe now. We did some stuff with Heavy Psych, and they're cool people, but I think Ripple just seems like a nicer fit. And it's going to be a catalyst where, like I said, my whole point of this is to get that Sony an official release, whatever it may be, sell it to us, sell it to Ripple, sell it to whoever, sell it to me, give it to me, or put the fucking thing out and
just get it out. Right? Yeah.
Like, you're going to make money. And if you don't give a fuck, then just give it to me for $10 and thanks. We'll see. I'll make it happen. I will make it happen. Yeah. I made it happen already. I'm gonna make it happen again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
So
awesome.
Fighting the fight. Not afraid. Good things. A lot of good things coming up. It's been, like I said, man, like COVID was good for me, where I got to cleanse all the fucking negativity and like the bad shit, and like take a break and not feel bad about taking a break, and you know what I mean? I'm in a good spot. I'm getting the things done, mom stuff, house stuff, this stuff, parking lot stuff, like girl stuff, Jetta, everything. It's a good thing. Like, we're good for each other too. It's like Zen. It's like Zen time, and like let's get all these things done, and just be positive and be happy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm trying to keep all the negative shit. Negative. No, done. That's don't have time. Don't have time and energy for that. Let's kick ass, and that's it.
Well, thanks so much for coming on, Arthur.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. I yapped my ass off, but I guess that's the point of this.
That's the point of it. Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah.
I got plenty more stories. You just let me know.
Oh yeah. That's what
for sure.
She said the dog's gone. Well, are you high? Then when she said the dog's gone and you're high,